Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham.
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber.
Hello.
And this is State of Atlanta.
Ooh, that like sprayed up into the mic.
Hey-o.
I hope Mike's okay.
Getting a little too close there. I don't know.
Giggity, giggity.
Well, it's been a long time since I've seen you guys. It's been, I guess we could count the hours, but
A few hours.
5 or 6 hours since I've seen you guys at the kickoff luncheon today. What did you guys think of it? It was a lot of fun.
I loved it. You know what? It was my first one.
You popped your kickoff luncheon cherry.
Yeah.
It was my first one too. We're virgins. We were virgins, Ryan.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
not anymore.
My whole thing is it's always been tough, during the week to like justify doing that, like getting out there and skipping work and all that stuff. But this time it felt like there was a little bit more weight because of State of Atlanta, and that we did the two giveaways and just like being part of this fan club type thing. So.
So what are y'all's first impressions of something like this? Was it what you expected? Was it more? Was it less? Is it something you want to do again? What would you tell somebody about
access to athletics?
Someone read my Panther Talk post.
The thing is, it was exactly what I expected. Which was above expectations, if that makes sense. Because you always we like to rag on athletics. We do. This was exactly what it should have been. It was all of us getting together, and they had pretty decent food, and we all had enough time to socialize beforehand. And then we had, the little coach speak session where, Dave Cohen shined and everybody else said what they would normally say. And,
right.
It was a good time. And then we did our tour, and that was fun. We met lots of folks. There was lots of good networking. We wore these nice new polos with our State of Atlanta logo, and I got asked 5 times, what is SA? So maybe the O needs a little help, but we'll see. But I got to, we got to talk about the podcast and try to get some more listeners and just shoot the shit with some good folks, some fellow Panther fans.
Which is also great coming off of the dead period of no sports at all since really March. I mean, we had there's some still stuff going on, but really it's been nothing going on the past 2 months at least. Tim, is it something that you would you do this again, and would you recommend it to other fans?
I would absolutely do it again. The food was good. I mean, the speeches were good. Coach speak, I know, but Elliot did a good job trying to get the crowd interested. Dave did his always great emceeing, right?
Yes, I got a question about that. So obviously Coach Elliott was trying to be that firecracker, rile up the crowd, do whatever. Do you think he succeeded in his efforts?
I think he succeeded in our hearts, maybe not outwardly outwardly expressions from the fans. How about that?
Yeah, I thought he was trying to be a lot of fun and trying to give Dave a hard time, and I'm kind of like, you're not gonna give Dave a hard time with this crowd. Our loyalties are to Dave pretty substantial.
Well, and when Charlie Cobb started talking about, you've been listening to Dave Cohen for 4 years. 4 years. He kept saying 4 years. And I was like, 4? What are you talking about? 4 years? Have you only been here for 4 years and you just think that Dave Cohen magically showed up when you showed up? What is the deal here? He was saying 40. He's just a Southern good old boy and doesn't enunciate the ordy.
All the words just blend together, right?
Those Carolinians, they can't afford all the syllables when they grow up. They can only afford so many of them. So you
finally, he said it. At the last minute, I was like, 40. But it was
now
really
the helmet makes sense. Right?
Dave Cohen did not know it was coming, but they commemorated his 40-year anniversary and gave him a nice helmet that commemorated it, and it was a nice gesture.
It was cool. Very unexpected. Chris Sibilia was behind me when I was trying to say something to him because we thought things were wrapping up, and he's like, "Nope, wait. There's another thing that's going to happen." And Cobb comes around the corner and gives the helmet to Dave, which is very cool. You could tell Dave was surprised by it. I thought they were going to announce him being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm like, I obviously Dave Cohen's first ballot Hall of Fame, no question asked. Like,
I
you
think
could
he was the
find
first
out that,
person I said when people are like, "Who do you think should be in?" I'm like, Dave. That's it.
right, but you just don't.
Only
in my
Dave.
opinion, you don't put him in there until he's he's retired from
Got to
the
retire
job.
first.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I was
Yeah.
I was getting really prepared to like just be like, no, I've been the one
I was
person in the
worried.
crowd.
Yeah, I was worried that like, oh shit, is he retiring? No, we need him to keep talking forever. Like literally forever.
Exactly.
I thought the tour was awesome too. I mean, I'd been on a couple of non-official tours of the facility, so going on a official tour and getting to see things that I hadn't seen before or updates, like the weight room was great.
Yeah. Weight room is awesome.
The old Braves locker room is awesome to like walk in there. Obviously the baseball team's facilities were good too. Like I thought it was really cool to get to see behind the scenes how everything's being improved at the stadium.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, the baseball facilities are like fully contained within that building. There's so much space in there to just like build out and like do all kinds of stuff with. But like all of the offices for the baseball coaches and stuff, they're all there. There were batting cages down there that I don't think I do not believe they existed. What?
No, those are the Braves batting cages.
I don't think they existed before though. Like I think they had moved that stuff out and like redone them. I could be wrong. I don't know. But it's really cool. They've got all that work done in there. And when the baseball team starts playing in Summerhill, then they're planning on continuing to use that facility as like their primary staging area where they have their locker room and their training and all that stuff. They're already training there apparently. I don't know if they're like hitting balls out on the field or what, but
apparently they were during the luncheon today. That's what somebody had told me, that they saw some guys out there actually, swinging some bats out there. So
all right, that's cool, man. I'll take it. I think that's neat.
We got to see our future club, right? Behind home plate,
the old SunTrust Club, the State of Atlanta Club.
I do have a solution for the. I have a solution for the right field stands.
What's the solution? I was like,
leave them up. Oh, you have a thought?
No, that's just me. I was looking at like the Google Maps or the satellite view of the stadium. I do this all the time. I just like look at it and kind of like just browse around and then end up looking at real estate and get distracted. But no, I was kind of looking at what you could possibly do with that. So what do you got? What do you have?
I mean, you could potentially just build all that up. There's like student apartments somehow. Just one stacked on top of the other, stacked on top of the other, tiered. Why not? I mean, cool. Obviously, like no balconies. No balconies.
No, have balconies. Why not?
Oh, you could.
Why not? They get free tickets anyway. Just give them balcony.
Yeah,
I'm up for it. There's somebody that's doing that. There's one of the schools. I don't know if it's in the Sun Belt or not, but there is a college that they're building up facilities around. I think it's Jacksonville State. Part of their plan about moving to Conference USA, their facilities plan is building in like some dorm rooms and everything that are basically surrounding the stadium, so you would have rooms that you could sit in your living room or walk out into your deck, your porch thing, and watch the game from there. Which I know that kind of takes away from some of your attendance records. It looks a little bit more slim or whatever, but also
hear me
college
out.
Kid,
you always count them.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Our attendance today is
whatever the turnstile plus however many people are live in this dorm room or this dorm facility.
Hey, look, if we got to put a turnstile at the entrance, I'm down. Let's do it.
Exactly. Oh yeah, look at that. James likes the State of Atlanta polos. So thanks a lot. Thanks, James. My wife made them for us. Like that. So, just a little bit more on the luncheon before we start talking. There's a lot to talk about. You can tell we're getting close to football season starting because there is actually a lot. I was putting the notes together and I was like, and this, and it was like the dude, where's my car at the Chinese fast food place, and then. So we did the State of Atlanta table. We had a couple of our patrons that were able to join us, and we got Coach Trent McKnight and Blake Carroll to join us there, which I thought was great. They were sitting across the table, pretty much almost exactly across from the three of us. So it was kind of harder to, at least for me, to talk to them a little bit.
It was a little loud.
Yeah, and then all the ambient noise and everything. But the conversations I did have with them were great. They were a lot of fun to talk to. And the one thing I could really take away, especially from Blake, was this team has a lot of expectations on themselves this season. They know that they know that this is the best team that Georgia State's ever fielded, and they want to go out there and they really. I know, again, this sounds like coach speak type stuff. They want to win these games. They want to beat App. It's like it's time. It's time to beat App. This is our time right now.
It's past time. It's past time to beat App.
I think someone. And then I was gonna say, I think someone wrote it on the board, right?
Was it on the board in there? Well,
yeah.
And the room there.
The player.
What do they call that?
Auditorium. I don't know.
Auditorium room, yeah. But I overheard Coach McKnight and Blake talking to each other, just sidebar type thing, and so I had to pipe into my conversation. And basically, they were talking about how much they want to beat Coastal this year, again, beat Coastal again, and so I asked Coach McKnight, I was like, when you have a player like Sam Pinckney who moves to their team, or Jordan who's gone to South Carolina, like, how does that make you feel going into that game against them? And he's like, you just want to win it that much more. And I agree. That's the right answer to the question. But the look on his face was like, I want that game. I want that game so bad.
Well, I really enjoyed all the trick plays that McKnight gave us too. So I'm looking forward to what we pull out with South Carolina. Yeah.
Oh boy,
I got our little our napkins out, and we put our X's and O's and had our own little plays drawn.
We let them know what they should do, and you'll see some really good plays. And the ones that worked, that was us. That was all us. Yeah. And if they didn't work, it wasn't us. Those are the ones that
stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
That was print stuff. Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool. Mitch, who won a ticket through us to sit at our table, sat next to Coach McKnight and sat there and chatted him up the whole time. It was cool to see that, like, he made the most of it.
We should be interviewing Mitch.
We could have Mitch on sometime.
That goes back to what you said earlier, Tim. Like, these types of events, when Georgia State has them, and this was very well attended. I think it was. They packed out the University Lounge or whatever it's called up there. Yeah. It was a good attendance. These types of things, for the amount of money it costs to be in there, every single Georgia State fan should be coming to every one of these things, because the access you had. We had the offensive coordinator sitting at our table, giving him plays to start the game against South Carolina. Just to have this kind of access. And then, Coach Elliott was around. All the coaching staff was there. Then Coach Hayes and other Coach Hayes were there. You have access.
The whole basketball team, basketball coaching staff was there. I mean, they were all there. Not the team, but the staff. All the coaches were there.
So
that's cool, man. I didn't go say hi, but you could have.
Yeah. A couple of things I heard from the coaches. Coach Elliott believes that our running backs, any one of our running backs, could be playing for any P5 team out there, and he was adamant that he believes that. And then Coach Fuquay, which I thought my autocorrect did Antavius Lane to Antivirus Lane. He said that Antivirus Lane. He says he called him a once in a lifetime player for a coach. He says the way that Hit Stick is able just to place himself where the ball's going to be over and over again. You just don't see that. That's a once in a lifetime type thing. So hopefully he continues that in this season. That's fun to hear.
Well, and unless you guys got multiple times causing havoc on the field, causing confusion, causing turnovers, causing people to fumble the ball and stuff like that. That's the whole goal, is to be. We hear havoc. That was the basketball, right? That was like the man-to-man. That was what's his face, right? That's what that was called.
Shaka Smart.
Yeah,
GSU.
Which is, to me, I want to see a defense like moving a lot before the ball snapped and like doing weird shit. Like, I want to see him confusing the offense. So when I hear the word havoc, that's sort of what I'm expecting. So maybe I have high expectations, but we'll see. It sounds like that's the goal, is to like cause a lot of confusion and like get at the ball. That's good.
Yeah, well, that's what Coach Elliott has prided himself on, that hard, fast, physical, knock him on the nose type football. And if you can do that on both sides of the ball, that's even better.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was interesting that Elliott talked about having a 7th ranked, rushing attack in the nation last year, and I don't know, 109th,
103rd,
like that.
I think.
103rd, 9th,
4th,
one of something.
We challenged Elliott to just, bring that up to the 7th best passing attack, just to match the rushing attack, to keep it balanced.
Like, Granger plays the way that he played in the bowl game, and we have no problems. I mean, but no
If
one
you
has
look
any
at
problem.
any-
We're
you
going
look
to
at
beat
any
our
article talking
2025
about-
national championship if he does that. So,
we may get one before then. We may get one
that's
before
right. That's what I'm
2025.
saying.
No.
If Ranger can play like that, we're in.
We're gonna break time if we do that.
If you look at anything the analysts have said about this team going into it, whenever it comes down to Granger, they all almost say the same thing. Basically, a near perfect performance in that Ball State bowl game. So yeah, if we can channel that Granger the entire season, absolutely.
He was there
Cynical
today.
Peach
He was at a table that wasn't ours. He probably
Granger.
listens and requested
He
to
would know.
not have this.
Did you see what? Did you see what table he was at?
Nah, what was it?
He was with Charlie Cobb and Dr. Blake. He was at the big boss, the big boy table.
Ooh.
That's where Granger,
Right
that's where
on.
Granger was. We'll get off this, but Cynical Peach says he wants Georgia State to beat App State more than the trash down south. He's sick of being Appy's punch bag. While I appreciate what you're saying, nope, got to keep that.
Yeah, if I'm
win
going to
streak
lose
alive
one and win one, I'll tell you which order I'm going in.
Exactly. Yeah. No, if you want to talk about winning both of them, absolutely. But if it's winning one of those two, yeah, we can
Southern.
go 1 and
Southern.
we can go 1-11. We can go 1-11 as long as we're not giving up a loss to that that trash down
Southern.
south.
Yeah, that's right. Man, you kept ragging on me because I opened the door for some folks and I was like, oh, I'm a Southern guy, and you were like, you're a what? Like, oh, come on, man,
Come on, Ryan.
Good old Southern.
You just say you're a gentleman.
We all know that's not true. He'd get ragged on even more for that, probably. So, there was ESPN released their final preseason projections for football, getting ready because football starts this week. We actually have the Week 0 game start this week, so it was kind of interesting to see. No, it's not till Saturday. All the games are on Saturday, but seeing where we fall, same thing we've seen pretty much in everybody's subjective opinion is in this supposed objective piece. Appy first place, then Marshall, Coastal, Georgia State making up 2, 3, 4. We are 4 in this case, but if you look at because they do the whole thing with their offensive ranking and their defensive ranking, and we're talking about Marshall's 67, Georgia State's 76. We're 9 spots away. When you're that far out of the top 25, it doesn't really matter. You're the exact same score. But I thought was interesting was Coach Elliott talking about kind of a balanced, attack. Georgia State was ranks 79th in offense and 72nd in defense. And then you look at like Coastal, 5 spots above us, 38th in offense. So they're, significantly better, but then 104 on defense. To me, that looks like a really easy opportunity just to really knock them out. Yep. Simply. So, and I don't want to get into all those kind of numbers because it's hard to talk about without seeing something on the screen for everybody. But looking at this, Appy, the clear favorite, everybody else right in the mix. I don't see any reason why, we're just in this division just as much as anybody else is, other than the bottom 3 and especially the bottom 1.
I mean, the thing that they talked about a lot today was not just the talent, but the seniority on the team. There's a lot of players coming back. There are a lot of starters, a lot of starts on the team is what they were saying. Is that like, you have players on the team who have started for 4 years basically at this point. And I think they said we were like top 10 for number of starts somewhere. But I think that's cool.
Oh yeah, they were saying something like that. Yeah, I forget what it was, but I think it was like top 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah.
For the number of starts, you add up all the starts amongst all the players,
right?
Where we're at, and that's one of the reasons why this is the best team that Georgia State's fielded in football. Which really, it's kind of like that when you go to watch those Apple announcements and Steve Jobs and now
the best iPhone ever.
He's like
Tim Cook.
He's like, Tim Cook, Apple's done this and this and this, and now we present to you the best iPhone ever. It's like, well, I hope you didn't get worse from last year. It's the same thing with the football team. This is the best Georgia State team we've ever fielded. It better be. Don't get worse from last year. So.
Yeah, it's that, and coach came out and said, the very first practice was like the worst practice he's ever seen, and I'm like, well, that was expected.
It was the worst practice last year too, apparently.
And then he said today was like the best practice he's ever seen, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like I mean, like these are the things I expect you to say, I guess.
Right.
It's fine.
But it's still it works. It works. was it 9 days out? No, 10 days out from the season starting. You hear stuff like that, and it gets your motor running. You're ready to run through a brick wall and sit down and drink a beer and watch a football game.
I'll drink a beer anyway. But what I loved was him making fun of all the old men on the team, and he was talking about like Aubrey Payne, and being like, like there was an offensive lineman there, I think, where he was just like every single play he like limps. He didn't need to come off the field. He just limps because like he's an old man and like he thinks that's what he needs to do.
Yeah, I think that Aubrey is actually older than his coach, Dan Ellington.
That might be true.
Wow.
7th year.
That's a crazy
7th year.
This guy.
Thank you, COVID, right?
He'll get his doctorate at Georgia State before he finishes playing football.
I took 7 years at Georgia State, and I don't have a doctorate. All right, like it can be done. You got to fail some classes.
Can be done. Looking at the other ESPN rankings, they have South Carolina. So we came in at 76th out of all of FBS. South Carolina and North Carolina are back-to-back 37 and 38, our first two games. So you add them together, they're right there at 76. I think that means we have to split the games between the two of them, worst case scenario, right? If we can total their score to our score, then we just split the games.
I like that theory and that concept. I'll go with it.
Yeah, I'm not following.
I'd like to have both games though. Can we do that instead? Just win both?
I think I don't think there's a game on our schedule we can't win this season. I'm not predicting 12-0 on the regular season, but looking at it, obviously beating South Carolina and North Carolina would be upsets. They would consider those upsets.
Sure.
I think we're a 14-point dog going into South Carolina.
Would be an upset.
Yeah, Army. As of right now, I think Army would be an upset. Obviously, they'll take a look at that. Going into week 4 or whatever that is. Right now, and based off these rankings, they're 72nd. We're 76th. So that could easily. You beat South Carolina, North Carolina, and Charlotte. You definitely moved up in the rankings at that point.
That's true.
So I mean,
that's true.
But it was. Yeah, I'm okay. Go ahead.
Coach Elliott also talked about stressing when he got hired that we need to be scheduling SEC teams and not like these teams like Oregon and
Wisconsin.
What's that? Washington State, I think.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Penn State.
He called out Wisconsin and Penn State specifically as games he didn't win. And then he also called out that South Carolina was the team that he wanted to play. And I was like, Coach, you do realize that Coach, you realize that if we play South Carolina, you can't just like go from your house to the game. You've got to come up on the bus with the guys. You can't. You've got to come from Atlanta.
We'll see if he has to or not. But also, the Penn State thing, I had a blast at the Penn State game. I would not have had a reason to go there otherwise. I had a great tailgate there. I thought the game atmosphere was awesome. That iced kick was one of the shittiest things that's ever happened to any team that I've ever followed. But
that happened to us.
Everything else was awesome. Was just fantastic. And I wouldn't trade that experience.
How many Penn State fans apologized to you for their coach being an absolute D-bag for icing the kicker on that end of the game?
No, I did have some. Honest to God.
I'm legit.
I don't know. I didn't count, but I did. I thought you were being sarcastic. I did have some who were like, "Man, that was kind of crappy." Like,
it was pretty low. The friends that we were there with said that was not what he should have done. He should have let the kick go.
Yeah.
So that season, Penn State was, they were talking about early in the season. They were talking about national championship contender. Right. They get to their schedule. They could be up there and make. I don't know if that was college football playoff or that was BCS still. I don't remember.
I think it was BCS. I think it was BCS.
Yeah, but anyhow, so not the game after us, but maybe 2 or 3 games after us, Penn State ended up losing a game. No idea who it was to, and it made national news, the non-sports news, like regular news about these players, that the Penn State players are trying to rush off the field. And they were all heartbroken because that's the way it is in college football. You lose a game, your national title hopes are pretty much dashed. And so they were talking about how this coach was basically running into the tunnel and grabbing his players by the arm and making them go back out there and like shake the hands and, do all the stuff with all the other players and congratulate them. And so people were talking about how great of a leader this guy was and the values he was instilling into these young men and everything. And I'm watching this one news show that I watch, and there's just, it's a panel of people on it. And there's just one guy who I don't really care for, but he was doing his little segment on it, and he was like, "Hey, let's not forget." This is the guy that iced a kicker when they were up 51-0 at the end of the game. He's not that great of a guy that you're trying to talk to him about. Maybe he's a good loser, but he's a very, very bad winner. And I was like,
and there's something to be said. Sorry. So there's something to be said about the coaching strategy that creates a scenario where those players are doing that. Like players don't just like run off the field. Like, they were coached up in such a way to like expect a win and like behave in a winning way, and not to understand what a loss might be, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, F that guy.
Exactly. Is he even still the coach at Penn State? I've got no idea. And
he is. He's still there.
He was the Vandy coach who like had them up and coming for a little while, right? I forget his name right now, but still.
Yeah. Well,
I wanted to say Charlie Strong, but he was the Louisville who went to Texas.
Pretty sure his name was Giant D-Bag.
Yeah, I forget his
sure.
name. Yeah.
All right. One last thing about the rankings. We'll move on to off of football for a little bit, or maybe entirely. I don't know. Well, so like I said, we clocked in at 76, and our buddies down the street came in at 87. We're full 11 spots higher in the rankings than Georgia Tech are. So that's just fun.
Well, then that whole thing is probably wrong. As a Tech fan.
As the big Tech fan that you are?
Yes. That whole thing has got to be. Listen, Tech has a very weird superiority complex. They do. I mean, they know they're not better than Georgia, obviously, but they think we're trash. Pretty much.
They got to be up on someone, right?
They have to.
They have nothing left. Yeah.
Could you imagine if they actually lived in a world of reality and they had to admit, and like what's it? Not next year, but 2 years from now, when we I think it's 2 years from now, when we play at Tech. That's going to be unless something dramatically happens different with the Tech program, or should Elliott get plucked away and we don't know what kind of coach we have at that point. I mean, man, I'm looking forward to head to the Flats. I think that that'll be that
head to the Flats.
I think that whatever it's called, I don't know what they call it.
You're right, but it's just weird because it's half a mile away. I mean, it's just it's odd.
Cross the street to the Flats. Yeah,
that's right.
Cross the bumps in the road to get to the Flats. No, it's like, so today, I think it was McKnight. I can't remember if it was McKnight or Blake was asking what game we were looking forward to the most for this season, and I'm like, I should have thought about it. Like, hell, I don't even care about this season anymore. I want that Georgia Tech game. That's the game I'm looking forward to the most on the entire calendar, all the future schedules. So
yeah,
they'll be put in their place. You guys got anything else on football for now?
Not football, but the whole program. I've seen people, giving Charlie Cobb a hard time about what has he accomplished, and all that stuff. But I think you look at the entire athletic department, and he's not necessarily doing a fantastic marketing job. That's for sure. I would never argue that. But we're building a convocation center right now. We've got 8-5 last year, and our football team has never looked better. We've got all kinds of facilities getting put into there. We've got baseball now. Was it announced or just like rumored still that baseball is coming back to Summerhill? It's announced, right?
With the funding earmarked.
The big question,
identified.
I think we've been told that private funding has been solidified, and the announcement will be coming in the fall or something.
Right.
But it's announced that it's going to be announced.
There's been big athletic moves that have been happening, a lot of them. And, I think when you look at the one failure, which is marketing, which is a big failure, and then to say, what is he even doing? And then you look at this huge list of things, I just don't understand, how you can be what's he doing? Because he's managing all this other stuff, all this very important stuff.
I think the problem comes from, and you're not wrong, and it goes back to what Dave said to start the
Oh,
the
yeah.
luncheon off today was he listed off all of this past season, how many of our teams made it to the NCAA tournament. And I actually want to say one thing to Dave about that, because I do know that Dave does tune in every once in a while to listen to this, is one thing you missed was you said beach volleyball made a national, the NCAA tournament appearance. Didn't the beach volleyball team play for the NCAA championship? They were actually in the championship game. If it wasn't the championship game, it was semifinal. Yeah, it was one of the two. Yeah, I mean, I think that's worth acknowledging. That's I'm pretty sure that's the closest that Georgia State's ever come to an NCAA championship.
Close to it. Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, Dave rattled off 6 sports that all made NCAA tournament appearances this past season. Our athletes are doing better, than they ever have before. The teams are looking better than they ever have before. I think the problem comes in is the off the field, and I don't mean off the field of the players, kind of running getting problems. I'm talking about looking in the stands, looking at that football stand.
It's marketing and fundraising are the big black eyes, right? I mean, that's the big problem. But you know what? I'll take all that other stuff and then we can work on that those things. But to sit there and say what's he even doing? I'm like, oh, come on! He's working on this stuff. I
if
can
you're going to find
a
silver lining,
working at it's not fair. That's not a fair
if you're
criticism.
Find a silver lining out of all of this would be we have we're having teams that are competing at a national level now. And no one's going to the games. But so that means if you go to the game, you get, again, unprecedented access to everything. You can talk to the head coach.
Access.
You can talk to the coaches. You can talk to the players. You can talk to the athletic director. You can talk to anybody in development. You can talk to
You can sometimes have a beer with Gene Hill. Sometimes
he'll buy you a beer
or a bite for you. Gene Hill.
Oh that guy that bought us beer. Got it.
But so as soon as we start marketing and we start filling up Center Park Stadium, we ain't gonna be shaking hands with the head football coach over a beer at Woods Chapel. That's just not gonna be happening.
We won't be drunk in the athletic director's suite either. Okay, maybe we'll still be there, but
we'll still be
sorry, Tim. Sorry, Tim, you won't be there. But me and David, we're
sneaking in. Damn it.
There's no sneaking. You just wander in, man. You have a good time.
I do think it's kind of funny though. So there's a thread on Panther Talk called "Where's our athletic director?" Kind of like where's Waldo, right? And I agree with you, Ryan. He's doing a lot of shit. It's not easy running this whole ship. I'm sure. I mean, we have a very spread out campus, athletic facilities, and needs. I do think it's funny though. People complain about YouTube, and within days, YouTube videos start getting released. People start complaining about where's the marketing or anything for the North Carolina game. And within days of that post, magically on Facebook, I start getting ads about North Carolina tickets. So they do listen. They are trying.
Maybe or it was already part of the plan and people complain early because they're not marketers. I think marketing's been lacking. I mean, that it's hard to say.
I said talking. Anyhow, talking to those Old Dominion guys last week, and they talked about how many people they have in their developmental office and the marketing office and all these different offices they have, everything going on. And we don't really have that. So
guys have the solution
or solution budget for that. All right, here we go, Tim. Solve it for us.
All right, you just list all the titles and then write Chris's name on all of them. Done.
So he's definitely not an infrastructure
the credits roll and it's got everybody's title on there. And unless you look closely, you'll see that it's Chris Sibilia.
It's all him, yeah. So that's what he's definitely not an infrastructure builder. It feels like he has grown a team that is pretty loose and willing to roll with the punches and do whatever it is they need to do to further the program, which I think is a strategy, but it's not one it's not a growth strategy, right? It's a maintaining strategy. And I feel like we can get there like this, but we're already past it. And we need to be building some more structure into the program and having these departments with people who are focused on these various tasks. And we're just not there yet. and we should be. And so that is a valid criticism. But then to say that, like, where is he? What is he even doing? Well, here's the list. Like, I got it. He's just not that guy. I think maybe next time we hire an AD, we should hire that guy. He's not that guy. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's like a couple of different leadership styles. He's not that leadership style, and that's fine.
This actually kind of goes
we
to
should get there.
It's kind of like a conversation. Ryan, I think you were there with me when we were talking to Dave Cohen today, and the conversation came about Trent Miles, and all three of us were in agreement. You, myself, and Dave, that we like Trent Miles. He was the coach we needed when we brought him in, and I think that he did Georgia State well in his 3 years that he was here, but I'm not going to say that the job was too big for him or anything, but I think when Coach Elliott came in, that's who we needed at that time. Trent Miles did us well at that time, and then we needed a Coach Elliott. So same thing where Charlie Cobb may have done us well over the past 6 years, however, no more than that, because he hired Elliott. So 7 years, 8 years, whatever he's been here. He has done us well. He got us into Center Park Stadium. He got Center Park Stadium named. Convocation Center came about, through Becker, but under Cobb's tenure. He hired Lanier. He hired Coach Hayes. He hired Coach Elliott. So there's things that have been happening, and I agree.
Hunter too, didn't he?
Hunter was Levick's hire, wasn't? I think that's part of the beef, because everyone talks about that. There's always this beef between athletic directors and coaches. If I didn't hire you, then you're immediately not my guy or gal,
right?
So,
I think that's true. I think you're right.
Yeah. But anyhow, I pulled this up. Cynical Peach made a comment: if the AD can't raise awareness through marketing and fundraising, that's an indictment on leadership. It's been over a decade, and the same issues are still present. Coastal passing us is unacceptable. I don't go for it.
I don't know if Coastal's passed us.
Your first two sentences, I'm on board. Your last sentence, that Coastal has passed us. I don't agree with the premise. I don't think Coastal has passed us. I think that's bogus. The media maybe thinks that, but we all know, because we're paying attention, that Coastal is not the program that they claim they are, and that they had a very good year and they have a very good quarterback, but they have a lot of problems in their program, and we're probably going to beat them again this year. And they haven't passed us. They haven't passed us. I don't know how else to say it. They haven't passed us.
They've only passed us in media perception. And you look at the media. You can't trust the media with anything. They're gonna hop on whatever sells ad dollars. So, Tim, what do you got, Tim?
I mean,
what do you got, Tim?
I think Coastal, their gimmicks are what sold them. Their weak schedule and just winning with the gimmick is what got the media all attached to them. I mean, Grace McCall, great quarterback. Stud quarterback in the Sun Belt, but outside of that, I don't know. We had their schedule last year or the year before, we would be a 9, 10, 11, 12 win team. Without gimmicks, we would just win, right? We wouldn't have the gimmicks.
Said as much today that you put our exact same team against their exact same schedule, and we'd play out a lot of the same way, and yeah. Absolutely right.
Ooh,
I agree.
Loaded question. Would you rather play and beat Kansas 3 years in a row, or play Auburn, barely lose, play USC, who knows? What do you want? You want the P5 week win?
I'd rather beat Kansas.
Beating Kansas would be great, but I want to stick with the girl that I showed up with, and I'm not gonna. I want to stick around with Georgia State. I like what's going on.
Me too.
One thing I did think, one thing that I did think about that I'm trying to remember because I forgot what it was about Coastal was
they're fake.
Yeah, they are fake. Man, what was I going to say? It was really going to be good too. I forgot it once and then remembered it and forgot it again. And
they're flash in the pan. They're fake. They have a weak schedule. What is it? Come on.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll in the middle of talking about basketball. I'll go back to Coastal Carolina. That'll be make for good listening, right? So
sure.
Are we gonna do basketball on last call? Is that what we're doing?
I think so.
Yeah, we're already 40 minutes in. I told you we had a lot to talk about. Then I have 1, 2, 3. I got 4 basketball topics to talk about. Ryan has to
4.
pee, I think.
I have to
I think that's
pee.
the problem. Oh no, so I remember my Coastal thing. See, I just kind of like went back and forth. So
All right, what is
Coastal,
it?
they got all of their big deal during the COVID year. And that's when media, they were so starved for something to talk about, something to latch onto, some kind of positivity, something like a storyline they could run with. And so Coastal was that storyline, or at least it was a storyline within college sports. So they went and did that and got everyone hyped up, believing that Coastal was this great team, when in fact they were a pretty good team with some lucky bounces and a really crap schedule. So that was my point. Man, that's a good point too.
Yeah,
Coastal
media
sucks.
the media was really desperate. That's true.
And it didn't hurt that the following year they repeated again on a soft schedule. We talked about it today. They, they beat some crappy teams. They nearly lost a Buffalo team that won 3 or 4 games or something like that. All right, so Cynical Peach has a point. Yeah, they beat a BYU team. They beat a BYU team that they scheduled that game within 2 or 3 days and flew across the country for that game. They played them again though, I think, too, didn't they? I don't know. Players have been drafted to the NFL. It's not much, but they are ahead in football. We'll see this year. I'm gonna withhold judgment. I'll say we'll see this year whether or not they've passed us in football. So, all right, Ryan. Now that you're back, let's hop into your favorite subject, and basketball.
All right,
big week for basketball. Big week for basketball. My favorite topic.
Literally.
Oh yes, we'll get there.
Week. A very large, tall week.
The full schedule was released. My favorite topic.
Oh God, no! Let's talk about the other thing that I'm referring to.
No, I don't have I don't have a lot because it's all positive. The schedule's awesome. We've already talked about the conference schedule. We knew the conference schedule. That's fine. This was the non-conference getting finalized. We start the season. The Convocation Center is going to get worn out this first season. 9 home games in a row to start the season, including exhibition. That's ridiculous. 9 in a row. Is that like a thing? Is that what you do?
That is 10? Not a thing.
Couldn't get 10.
That's not a thing. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you just need those. We just need those 2 away games canceled, right? And then we'll have it more games in a row.
We have. If you count exhibition, we have 13 out of conference games. 2 of them are away. That's ridiculous.
Some solid scheduling.
I love it. I mean,
how they do it.
Coach Hayes is the man. Well, that multi-team event is one part of it, which that's kind of a difficult series because I think we play 5 games in 9 days, and you got 3 games back to back to back, and the first 2 of those 5 games are Georgia Tech and Mercer. So that's gonna be a tough stretch. But fortunately, that multi-team event is against some crap teams, so I'm not too worried about that part. But I love it. I got nothing else to say. Season ticket holders are getting their money's worth out of this schedule. I love it. I can't wait for the season to start. But let's watch some football before that happens. You guys got anything on the schedule? We don't have to talk about it that much. That's up to you guys.
I never have anything on the schedule. So
I know you don't, Ryan. I know you don't, Ryan.
I'm excited to see some games in the new Convocation Center, though. So, that's all. That's all I have really to say about.
Are you going to buy a ticket?
Off of me, probably.
What was that? What's happening?
Are you going to buy a ticket?
What?
A season ticket? Season ticket.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Ignore him, Tim. All right. Speaking of the Convocation Center, the seat selection has been moved back to October now. And I did get some word that.
Breaking news.
Well, wait, it's Halloween, isn't it?
Halloween at
there's a game,
5.
There's a game. No, we have. That's when the middle of October is when we have that Wednesday game against Appalachian State in football. So I think it'll be that Saturday. So there's no we have 2 weeks of no Georgia State football on a weekend. So I think it's going to be one of those 2 Saturdays, like the October 15th or the 22nd, that we're going to do the seat selection. The only other option would be the weekend that we're at Army, and I've been told they will not screw over the fans that are going to Army by doing seat selection while they're up in West Point. Because that would be
not? Let's do it.
That'd be uncool. Yeah, well, because I want to go.
But what would be uncool is if they did seat selection like on Halloween at 5 or 6. That would be very uncool. Nobody would do that. Anyone with kids cannot do that.
I would just be FaceTiming the two of you, being like, "All right, do you want to sit here? Do you want to sit here?"
That's right. Tim can do that.
I would go.
Well, I think that was the talk in our Patreon chat was like it's going to be like just show up an hour before tip off and pick your seat, and that'll be your seat for the rest of the season. It's like first day of school. You go pick your seat, and this is where you're going to sit all semester long. But no, so it'll happen in October.
I mean, if they can't figure it out, then it's embarrassing that they even did a pick. They should have just like given you a seat.
Well, I think that there's been some construction issues, not construction issues, but like I guess with everything ramping back up or something, there's been some delays with getting people out there to be able to finish off everything. The team has not been practicing inside there yet. The team has not had yet one practice inside the convocation center yet, which is
we need to get in there.
I know it's kind of hard to have a home court advantage if you've never played a game inside of the place or practice inside the place. But
we'll still be there.
We'll still be there. Two last things. I hired a new assistant coach. Kent Davidson came from. Well, he was at Georgia with Coach Hayes for a while. I think this was just. It looks like a cool hire. It looks like it's somebody that brought in that has like a crap ton of experience in the coaching ranks, and it's somebody to kind of keep Coach Hayes on his, like, all right, you're a head coach now. These are the things you got to do that people are expecting of you that you may not realize coming into it. So, but it looks like it's a good hire, a brand new position that he got made. It looks like. So
he seems like a hire that's going to make sure we do all the things. That's it.
They were going to take some pressure off of Coach Hayes as well, like having to handle some just mundane
how to do all the things. Yeah,
talking to people that are asking questions and wanting to know things. Like let Coach Hayes focus on the basketball, let this guy focus on the administrative type things. That's what it seems like, at least. So, but it sounds like a good hire, a good addition to the team.
So, I mean, when they were introducing the coaches today, what I noticed, Coach Hayes was really proud to know where everybody was from, and it seemed like only him and his brother are from Georgia.
Right.
It felt like
everybody wasn't everybody from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania and Ohio. It was all Pennsylvania and Ohio, it seemed like.
Is that gonna be our new thing where we complain about the Carolinas for football? We'll complain about Pennsylvania and Ohio.
Are there good basketball recruits up there? Ohio probably, I would imagine, has pretty good basketball.
Yeah, Indiana for sure. Well, speaking of recruits, there was a huge this is what we were talking about, a literal huge recruit.
I know, you didn't even let me do the lead in. You just said, screw you, Ryan, we're going to talk about something else.
I was focused on my thing I wanted to talk about, and it was schedules, and there's no way you're getting ahead of me on schedules.
You should know better by now, Ryan.
It was an assist, and you fumbled it. You screwed it up. I tossed that ball up for you to dunk it, and you were like, you know what? Instead of dunking it, I'm just gonna pop it out of bounds. I'm blocking my own shot.
What? How about you dunk it in there for me? Tell me what the name of this player is.
No.
Apparently he goes by DK Emmanuel. I'm glad he goes by DK because I do not think I can pronounce his name.
Donkey Kong
without some help there. But a 7-foot dude, and like there was a lot of talk about him, like on Panther Talk about where he could possibly go. He had a lot of offers. I think Yale was one of his offers, and I'm glad he wants to come here and play. But man, you get a scholarship to Yale. You take a scholarship to Yale. Unless you just hate the Northeast, which I can appreciate. He's a smart kid, though. Obviously, got offered at Yale. Got a 4.0 GPA in school, I believe. So, yeah, he's a 2023 commit, so we won't see him until next year. But welcome to the. I was going to say the A, but he's actually here in Georgia, so that kind of seems wrong. Welcome to Georgia State.
Well, he might not be from the A, though.
Welcome to the Panther family. There you go.
Yeah. All right, we're 50
we're
minutes.
Way
all right,
over.
Well, way
not
over.
way over.
Right,
we've standardized being under. We used to do an hour.
Yeah, football and basketball season makes it difficult to keep it under an hour.
That's right. It's good.
True.
We do about an hour.
All right, you know what?
We'll be fine as long as we keep it in an hour.
Real quickly, two things. I'm not sure if you guys know about it or not. The Sun Belt and the MAC announced this week that they have two Sun Belt games. Not our games. Two Sun Belt games have been picked up by the NFL Network. It's Sunbelt versus MAC. They've got Eastern Michigan, Lafayette, and Marshall Bowling Green. Doesn't matter a lot to us, but this is in addition to what the Sunbelt's already getting on ESPN. Sounds like it's another venue to get more games on networks that are not just streaming services. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool.
Interesting that the NFL network is picking up college football games.
People are gonna turn in and be like, "What?"
Well, I guess typically they'd be tuning in, and it would be just like some talking heads, right? I mean, and so now they're like, "Well, let's just show some football instead," because that's what people care about. People who tune into the NFL network want to watch football.
Yeah, I've thought for a long time the NFL Network on early Sunday mornings should have a recap show from Saturday, like like the future is now type show or whatever, where they talk about the games the college games that happened on Saturday, and they focus on the players they expect to be drafted in the coming years, and just because I on NFL Sundays, I get up first thing in the morning, and I just kind of like have my schedule between NFL Network, ESPN, and Fox, where I watch the different shows I want to watch. But also I'm coming off of college football Saturday, and I kind of want to see some highlights from all that. And of course, ESPN will have your highlights, but it'd be kind of cool if the NFL Network kind of talked about players that you'll see at the next level in the future years, or plays that may have taken a player to that next level. So I think it's kind of cool.
And that would include G5 players because people know going into that there are these G5 players who are, rising to the top, and you would see a lot of that stuff where on ESPN, you see less of that because they're focused on the Clemsons, Georgias, Alabama's, those are the three programs, right?
The 6 teams that have made it to the championship game in the past since it's
right. They're like very much focused on the programs, whereas like the NFL Network could be focused on the players, which would be cool.
Right. Yeah, because you'd probably see, like, I think a lot of people think that Grayson McCall at Coastal is going to be able to get drafted. So you would probably see some Coastal Carolina. Not that I want to see that, but you would see.
But you would.
Yeah, exactly.
Albert
and like
Wilson,
talking
when he was here, you might have seen some of that.
Yep.
I don't know about some of the other guys, man. I've been surprised at some of the names I've seen, showing up in camps. That's cool. It's neat. Some of the we are a legitimate avenue to the NFL now, and that is cool. That's very cool. Like the coach can go into any living room in the country and say, like, "Come to Georgia State, man. People see us. You could make the NFL if you're good enough. You will make the NFL."
You work hard enough, show your skills. We are a platform that can get you to the NFL. Right. Yep.
Yeah, we'll get you there, but you got to
go ride the bench. Don't go ride the bench at some P5 hoping for your shot of somebody going down. Come to Georgia State, shine, show that you are capable at your level of play, and you've got a shot out.
Just don't join the Saints. Just don't do that part.
Don't
stay away.
Like arguably our best player in the NFL is.
It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad.
It's not even arguable. I mean, he's gonna end up being like. I mean, he's Pro Bowl. Hasn't he done Pro Bowl?
He's been to Pro Bowl at least once, if not twice. Yeah,
he's definitely the best Georgia State like NFL player.
We can stop talking about him now. All right.
What?
All right, let's move on.
We'll say his name too. Will Lutz.
Will Lutz. Number 3.
It burns. It burns. It burns.
What burns
like I said earlier? Gonorrhea?
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. Coup on our team.
It's the same thing because he I mean, like, I don't know this for certain, but he went to Georgia Southern, so I just assumed that he probably has gonorrhea. That's just it's a fair assumption.
Well, can you cure that? Is that do you shake that? Because if you can cure it, he might be all right now. But
no, that's what the trash down south does. They just don't. It'll go away.
Just keep it.
I'll put some Eagle Creek on it, and we'll be good to go.
Oh, it'll be worse.
That inflames everything, right?
It's like that. It's like when something hurts. It's like when something hurts and your older brother like just pegs you somewhere and it's just like, well, now it's solved because now you're worried about this,
Yeah. Yep.
The Eagle Creek is worse than the gonorrhea. So it's like, you have gonorrhea, but also you have all this shit. So, which is worse?
It is worse. It is worse. Let's see what else we got. So football. I said football begins this week. There are 2 games kind of worth watching as a Georgia State fan. Charlotte's playing Florida Atlantic, and Florida A&M is at UNC. This is our week 3 and week 2 opponents. So I will be watching. I'll watch the start of the Charlotte plays at 7:00, and then UNC is playing at 8:15. I'll watch UNC. I'll see how they look against an FCS program. So those would be the 2 watch games for me as far as Georgia State goes this weekend.
But you don't root, you just watch.
I just want to check out the competition, see what we're looking at.
Give him a little view. Yeah.
Other sports, women's soccer has started, and they're on a roll. They're 2-0 on the season. They play, let's see, Murray State and Chattanooga. Well, they beat Murray State. They're playing Chattanooga and Kennesaw State this week. Both those teams are undefeated. They've not won a game yet this season. So hopefully the ladies can, next week we talk about them being 4-0 on the season. Then men's soccer starts this week. They are at North Florida, which I think is an exhibition game, and then they're hosting Mercer. And all the games I just mentioned are all on ESPN Plus. You can watch these games on ESPN Plus. And then in addition to that, volleyball starts. There's a Panther Invitational. Georgia State's playing Marist, Auburn, and Belmont this weekend. All those games on ESPN Plus. I think that's pretty awesome to be able to watch those games. So unless Georgia State has the schedule wrong and they just put ESPN Plus and you can't actually watch them, but that's what the Georgia State schedule says. So
we'll just go with it.
All right.
We're playing on ESPN Plus. Yeah.
Only thing else I got before we go to last call, which I do have last call topics, is tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Panther Talk, Thursday night podcast, and us will be doing a live stream to talk about the upcoming football season. So check that out. It's on the Panther Talk Facebook page. I'll probably stream it on our YouTube just so to get on another platform. But so we'll be talking to Ben Moore and the Thursday night guys about the football season tomorrow night, Wednesday night. So check that out. All right. Before last call, you guys got anything else?
Nah.
Last call.
All right,
Let's go.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening. Looking forward to the football season. Next week, we'll be talking in earnest. I did get in contact with a South Carolina podcast that we're going to try to get together and talk about the game next week as well. So,
very cool.
Yeah. Look forward to that. We're going to head over to last call, talk more about some other topics. Troy and Marshall getting in some trouble. Georgia State maybe have some Title IX trouble. We'll talk about that. Ryan can't wait.
Title IX trouble.
David gets all sassy about this stuff, so
he loves it.
Find last call on our Patreon page, patreon.com/StateOfAtlanta. It is free, available on Friday mornings. If you are a Patreon member, you get it immediately. Consider joining. It's $3 a month. You get early access to last call. Like I said, you get access to our private group chat, which is the most fun. Discounts on our merch, raffles. Like we had a couple of Patreon members join us on the table today for the kickoff luncheon. Try to do as much stuff like that as we can. So thanks everybody for listening. Consider joining Patreon, and we will talk to you guys over on last call. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.